The story of the foundation in the Philippines began in 1903 with Milagros Mateo, a Filipina high school student in Cebu, who dreamt of joining a religious congregation dedicated to Saint Joseph. Two sisters of the Daughters of Charity, then administrators of the school, and who were friends of the Siervas de San Jose in Spain, introduced her to them. Milagros then went to Spain and entered this religious congregation in Salamanca. Milagros wrote to her friends in the College of Cebu, sharing with them her joy in joining the religious life. Two of her friends were animated to enter the said congregation as well. Teresa Macasero entered in 1907 and Milagros Sarmiento entered in 1911. On December 21, 1931, Milagros Sarmiento, summoned by her brother to go back to the Philippines because of his failing health and the threat of a civil war in Spain, came back to the Philippines with Mother Sacramento Polo. The purpose of Mother Sacramento was to explore possibilities of having a foundation in the Philippines aside from accompanying Madre Milagros. The two siervas had an encounter with the Bishop of Haro, Most Reverend Bishop James McCloskey, expressing to him their desire to establish a religious community dedicated to Saint Joseph. He chose a town called San Jose de Buenavista in Antique for them and promised to shoulder all the traveling expenses of the sisters who would come, in addition to the provision of a house where they would live. All the financial support would be provided through the Daughters of Charity. Mother Sacramento went back to Spain while Mother Milagros was left behind in Cebu. On May 3, 1932, the next six sisters Siervas de San Jose set foot on Philippine soil. They were Amancia Bautista, Elijah Garayoa, Olvido Moreno, Emerenciana de Dios, Anunciacion Marco, and Ignacia Gutierrez. On May 11, 1932, the Siervas left for Antique together with Father Brennan, the secretary of the bishop, three Daughters of Charity sisters, and some parishioners of Iloilo. They were welcomed by the parish priest and parishioners in San Jose de Buenavista. The first community of the Siervas de San Jose resided in a rented house in San Jose de Buenavista, provided by the bishop, opening a boarding house beginning with 8 girls and a kindergarten school. Amidst poverty and difficulties of the place, and while adapting to the new environment, language, and culture, they continued with their apostolic activities, adding the task of formation and pastoral ministry. This bore fruit in the improved behavior of the young ones under their care. The economic situation in Antique challenged the sisters to go to Silay, Negros Occidental, to search for needed financial assistance with the permission of Monsignor McCloskey. The parish priest of Silay, Father Militar, introduced them to some prominent citizens of the place. However, this did not prevent the sisters from experiencing the physical discomfort brought by heavy rains during rainy season and the scorching heat during dry season. Nonetheless, a good number of prominent families warmly welcomed them and gave substantial donation. For the providence of God and the protection of our patron Saint Joseph was very palpable. Having no Catholic school in Silay, the sisters were asked to open Colegio de Santa Teresita on June 13, 1933 with lay teachers. On October 16, 1933, the second group of Siervas de San Jose arrived from Spain. From 1935 to 1950, this community, together with some interns, lived in the house of Don Jose Ledesma for free. This house served as school and dormitory, and everything that is needed for the chapel were donated by generous benefactors. With the increasing local vocations, the Holy See permitted the opening of a novitiate house of the congregation in the Philippines. Bishop McCloskey donated an old house of the diocese located in Haro, Iloilo. As such, on May 27, 1935, the first novitiate house was established with Mother Annunciacion as the mistress of novices. There were 3 aspirants who were accepted in Silay. Initially, this same community opened a kindergarten class and a boarding house which was financially supported by the Tiempo couple of Silay. In 1937, another group of sisters arrived from Spain as reinforcement for the community and new establishment. Don Domingo Rodríguez met the sisters in Colegio de Santa Teresita's Academy in Silay City. In appreciation of the sisters, he promised to build a school for the sisters in Talisay, the town next to Silay. Unfortunately, he died before this promise was materialized. Nonetheless, arrangements were made with Mother Irene Calleja for the construction of the school on the property owned by the Rodriguez family. Instructions and funds were prepared for its implementation. In 1937, the school was completed and named Santo Domingo Academy. On December 7, 1942, the Second World War started with the historical bombing of Pearl Harbor. The High American Command ordered the burning of big buildings to prevent the Japanese from occupying them. With this threat, the sisters tried saving the altar of the school and the image of Saint Joseph, but they were not able to do so. That evening, the American army began to burn the buildings, including the house where the sisters were staying. They were surrounded by fire, but they escaped unharmed, and the sisters attributed this through the protection of Saint Joseph. In Haro, Iloilo, at the outbreak of World War II, the people living in the cities evacuated to the more secluded areas for safety and survival. The sisters in the novitiate house, together with those who came from Silay, evacuated with the St. Paul sisters to their hospital. As soon as the sisters left the novitiate, the Japanese army occupied the house. In Silay, the school building of Colegio de Santa Teresita was occupied by the Americans. There were much sufferings everywhere during the Japanese occupation. In March 1945, the Second World War ended. By this time, only the houses of Silay and Haro were left. In Talisay, Doña Carmen Lizares, daughter of Don Domingo Rodríguez, offered to rebuild the school in the same or nearby place, but the sisters decided not to rebuild the house nor the school. Likewise, the house in San Jose de Buenavista, Antique, was not rebuilt. Guided by the directions set by the congregation, in fidelity to the orientations and invitations of Vatican II, new presidencies were established and redirection of projects began. In the endeavor to find an effective alternative to the hard reality of women with no resources, a main venture is the creation of the Talleres de Nazaret. This is an initiative which seeks to provide employment to poor young women who do not have the necessary academic preparation to find a decent job, offering them dignified work that prevents them from falling into prostitution, exploitation, and oppression, as well as an integral formation that facilitates processes of empowerment and personal growth of the workers. The Spirit invites and impels Francisco Butiña and Bonifacia Rodríguez to respond to the difficult situation of poor working women at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. The Spirit's fire sets them ablaze and turns them into glowing embers, inspiring other women believers who are courageous. This is how the Siervas de San Jose were born in the church. The fire of the workshop continues spreading strongly among the Siervas de San Jose, committed to the promotion and evangelization of poor working women, following the footsteps of Bonifacia Rodríguez and Francisco Butiña.